It's 12 o'clock, and you're watching KCCI Channel 8 Des Moines, Iowa's news leader. With Molly Cooney, Jason Hoffman, and meteorologist Mike Lozano. This is News Channel 8.
Could the body found Monday in a Des Moines cornfield be Dawu Stigler, missing after a shooting in the Oak Ridge neighborhood? That's what question the police are asking today. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Molly Cooney.
And I'm Jason Hoffman. Still no positive identification on the body found Monday in that cornfield. This afternoon, investigators are working on leads that it could be the body of 16-year-old Dawu Stigler. Crime Beat reporter Jenny Atwater is live at the Des Moines police station. And Jenny, when will police be able to make a positive ID?
Well, Jason and Molly, I spoke with investigators just about an hour ago. At that time, they told me it could be as long as a week before they can positively determine whether or not this is or is not Dawu Stigler. They tell me now they're going to have to use DNA testing to identify the body. Now, police say by many accounts this body does match the description of Dawu Stigler. An autopsy report reveals it's the body of a young black male who was murdered within the past month. Stigler's been missing since August 12th, and ever since that time, his family and police have feared he's dead. They believe he could be the victim of gang retaliation, coming on the heels of this man, Raphael Robinson's murder. Someone shot and killed Robinson July 31st in the Oak Ridge neighborhood. Since that time, many rumors have circulated around the neighborhood. First, that Stigler shot and killed Robinson, and then that Stigler had been murdered in retaliation. But it is important to mention again, Molly and Jason, that police have not made a positive ID on this body. Evidence does point that it could be Dawu Stigler, but they still have to finish that DNA testing to figure out who it is.
Well, and if it is someone else, are there any other missing persons cases that they're looking at right now then, Jenny?
They are not looking at any missing persons cases in Des Moines right now that match the description of this body. They say if it is not Dawu Stigler, then there's a chance that the body could be of someone from anywhere in the state or even from anywhere as far around as in the country.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jenny Atwater reporting.
A Marshalltown babysitter convicted of murdering a child in her care will be getting a new trial. This morning, the Iowa court ordered a new trial for Mary Weaver. Weaver was convicted of the 1993 deaths of Melissa Mathis. Weaver claimed that new evidence discovered after her conviction pointed to her innocence. She had been in prison for 2 years when a lower court judge agreed that she should have a new trial. She was released after the new trial was ordered. In Mason City today, testimony is underway in the first-degree murder trial of Derek Smith.
Smith, along with 3 other Missouri teens, are accused of killing Rebecca Hauser. Virginia Huey is in Mason City, and she joins us on the telephone with the latest. Virginia?
Well, Jason, today Hauser's husband, Dan, told the jury about the last day he saw her alive. That day was October 4th, 1994. Rebecca, her 2 sons, and Dan had dinner together in Marshalltown. Dan took the boys home to Union while Rebecca went shopping for birthday gifts for her twin daughters. Rebecca never came home, though. Dan described his frantic search for his wife, calling several county hospitals to see if she had been in an accident. Then a call from DCI agents told Dan that a body had been found in a car a few miles from Union. Dan broke down as he told the court that he identified his wife's battered body. He also wept as he identified her photograph and other personal belongings found scattered near her car. Now, this afternoon, the jury will hear from Derek Smith's schoolmates, Marshall County deputies, and other motorists who saw Smith near the crime scene. This is the prosecution's strategy to outline the events leading up to Rebecca Hauser's murder. Jason and Molly.
Virginia, what was Derek's demeanor during this very emotional testimony today?
He sat stone-faced through most of the testimony today. He did joke around with the lawyers during the break, though.
All right, Virginia, you were reporting live for us via the telephone. Thank you.
While Iowa remains near the bottom of the nation's murder rate, there is some alarming news when it comes to children becoming victims of violent crime. A new state report shows that far more children, many of them babies, are being killed than before. According to the report, in 1995, 11 of the 64 murder victims were younger than 6. That's nearly triple the number from the year before. Now, the report doesn't say who the children were or how they died, but experts say family violence may be a cause.
The fatal shooting of an Iowa City man by a police officer was not justified. That's what the Johnson County attorney told the city council in Iowa City last night. J. Patrick White says there was no basis for the use of deadly force on August 30th. That's when police officer Jeffrey Gillespie, investigating a burglary report, entered a family business and shot Eric Shaw, the son of the owner. White says Shaw, quote, took no action of any sort which would have conveyed a sense of danger, unquote. The fatal shooting still is under investigation by the Department of Criminal Investigation.
An Iowa police chief finding himself in jail this afternoon after he's accused of stealing $2,000. 37-year-old Robert Mehring is charged with second-degree theft and felonious misconduct. Mehring is the police chief of Oxford Junction in northeast Iowa. Now, the DCI says Mehring took $2,000 from a home. He was there on police business.
Still no comment from DeCoster Farms on the state's decision to target one of their hog lots in north central Iowa. The Iowa Department of Natural Resources plans to revoke a construction permit for DeCoster Farms for a 16,000 animal swine nursery in Wright County. The site will be closed unless DeCoster brings it up to environmental standards. Action could also be taken against DeCoster's 18 other sites. Well, still to come on News Channel 8 today at noon, the nation mourns the passing of a controversial public figure. Former Vice President Spiro Agnew dies at the age of 77.
And meanwhile, a mysterious submarine heats up the Cold War between North and South Korea. Those stories and more when News Channel 8 at noon continues.
You're watching News Channel 8, Central Iowa's #1 news.
During the 60s and 70s, he was Nixon's right-hand man. Today, Washington and the world is remembering Spiro Agnew.
The former vice president died yesterday in Maryland, and Rick Jackson takes a look back at his career.
Agnew was far from a high-profile governor of Maryland when he was called upon by Richard Nixon to be his vice president, calling it himself a bolt out of the blue. If the nation knew little of the man born in 1918 in Baltimore, son of a Greek immigrant father, it soon learned. Agnew's harsh ridicule of liberals and Vietnam War protesters, who he dubbed an effete corps of impudent snobs, drew much attention and criticism and applause from conservatives, leading to a win for the Nixon-Agnew ticket in 1968. 2 years later, the vice president told the nation what it was like to work under Richard Nixon.
It's amazing how good it's been to be a vice president operating with a president who causes one no insecurities, only provides the greatest in support, maintains proper communication at all times, and indicates that he learned a great deal about being a vice president himself.
That view drastically changed just 3 years later when, in the midst of the beginning of the Watergate scandal, Agnew resigned, walked into a federal courtroom in Baltimore, and pleaded no contest to 1 count of income tax evasion.
Gentlemen, I believe you've all received copies of the prepared statement that I read to the court in open court. As I said in that statement, the reason that I have changed my decision to fight this matter is because that I believe it would be against the national interest, have a brutalizing effect on my family to go through a long 2-year struggle concerning this matter. You also may be aware of what I said in open court, that I categorically and flatly deny the assertions that have been made by the prosecutors with regard to their contentions of bribery and extortion on my part.
The conservative Republican never spoke to Nixon again, saying he felt the president threw him to the wolves to appease his enemies. But he was present at Nixon's funeral in 1994, hoping to put all resentment aside. Agnew is survived by his wife Judy and their 4 children. He was 77 years old. Rick Jackson, CBS News, New York.
And in other news today, the Cold War may have cooled between the U.S. and Russia.
But today, a mysterious submarine is heating up between North and South Korea. And that story tops our look at news around the world this noon hour. 1 North Korean agent was captured, and the bodies of 11 other suspected agents were found along the coast of South Korea, apparent victims of suicide. This shortly after the discovery of a wrecked North Korean submarine. South Korean officials say the sub wrecked after dropping off the armed agents.
The first of several thousand U.S. troops leave Fort Hood, Texas this morning for the Persian Gulf. About 610 members of the Army's 1st Cavalry Division headed out on commercial and military flights. They're headed to Kuwait after recent tensions in Iraq.
The O.J. Simpson wrongful death trial is getting underway in Santa Monica, California. Before jury selection starts in the civil case, the judge has some pretrial issues left to deal with. Those issues could include relaxing his gag rule.
A brain-damaged man won't stand trial for a blaze at a fireworks plant that killed 9 people in Ohio. A judge ruled today that Todd Hall is incompetent to be tried on involuntary manslaughter charges. Hall was accused of setting a fire at a fireworks store that led to the 9 deaths. Now, he pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. 9 years ago, Hall had a partial lobotomy after a skateboard accident.
The shuttle Atlantis is set to dock with the Russian space station Mir tonight. Atlantis will drop off supplies, and then, of course, there's another order of business. The crew is going to be picking up U.S. astronaut Shannon Lucid. She's been on Mir for a record 6 months. Atlantis will pick up Lucid and drop off astronaut John Blaha for a 4-month stay, we think.
Yes, let's hope they have some good weather for landing. Can you imagine that up in space, all those delays? They can't get her, now she's coming back.
Can't
and
get
they're
back, get her back.
We're in a holding pattern now.
Guess what? It'll be tomorrow before we get to
No. Rain for us?
Yes.
Rain for us moving in. We've had fantastic weather. It's been great. People are ready for fall, I think.
Yeah.
We are not ready for rain, but we're going to get it anyway. We'll show it to you right after this.
Meteorologist Mike Lozano has earned the American Meteorological Society's seal of approval for excellence in television weathercasting.
What a day, what a day. Matter of fact, what a past couple of days. We've had great weather, fantastic. In the afternoon, it gets warm, but not too warm. In the morning, nice and crisp. Let's get out there right now because it's all going to come to an end in just a little while. Matter of fact, by tomorrow, we'll see rainy skies. The current conditions right now, we're looking at temperatures at 64 degrees, partly sunny skies, winds out of the east at 9 miles per hour. The dew point, 51 degrees, so still very, very dry conditions out there, very comfortable. Relative humidity, 63%. The barometer's falling 30.28 inches of mercury. Here's a look, though, at what's going on just to the west of us. A low-pressure system, a very energetic one. Actually, a low pressure sitting right over here. Here's kind of another low-pressure system running out ahead of it. See this little pointy stuff on the end of the clouds? Those are usually associated with tornadic weather. Sure enough, around Amarillo and north central Texas, a lot of tornado activity. Here's live Super Doppler showing you what's coming up in our neck of the woods. Mostly rain shower activity stretching all the way from about the Ottawa area right through Harlan, over through Red Oak, and down to Bedford. Now, this area has been stretching off towards the northeast. It is moving this way. Here's Des Moines, in case you were wondering, right over here in the right-hand side of the picture. So this activity moving toward the southeast, or towards the northeast, rather, at a fairly slow clip, but it will get here today. Look for increasing clouds. Here's a look at the state map. Find out what's going on right now. In case you're wondering about the pollen, it's very, very low. Ragweed 11 over total pollen's 24. Normally at this time of the year, we'd get up to about 75 degrees after an overnight low of 54. We're going to be right in that ballpark somewhere. 59 degrees at Fort Dodge, 61 degrees in Mason City, 62 down here at Tomo, 64 at Lamoni, 63 at Burlington, 57 degrees way up here at Spencer. Here's a look at the national map. Show you exactly what's going on. The low-pressure system is actually cut off. It's actually cut itself off from the general circulation, which goes across the United States from west to east. So it's sitting right over here with a mass of cool air back over in this direction. Look at this. Casper, Wyoming, 57 degrees. This is going to be the day's high there. Great Falls, Montana at 54. 59 degrees at Salt Lake City. 70 degrees at Reno, Nevada. 83 at Las Vegas. On the other side, a lot of moisture. 93 degrees. Very, very moist in San Antonio. 78 degrees in Oklahoma City. Out here, generally mild conditions. What we expect to happen is that the high that's been protecting us from all of this nasty weather is very slowly going to move towards the north. That's going to allow this front to come on in, bringing along with it the thunderstorm activity. Here's a look at this thing. You can see that cool air back over here, the warm, moist, unstable air out ahead of it. Thunderstorm activity, very, very prevalent. Look for some heavy thunderstorms possibly tomorrow. Here's a look at the forecast. We'll show you when to expect those. For today, increasing cloudiness, winds out of the east at 5 to 10, the high 72 degrees. For tonight, mostly cloudy, scattered thunderstorms in the western third, southwestern third of the state, winds southeasterly at 5 to 10 with the overnight low 52 degrees. For tomorrow, cloudy skies, scattered thunderstorms, some of those could get heavy, winds southeasterly at 10 to 15 with a high of 67 degrees. The extended forecast looks like this. Generally mild temperatures, but Thursday and Friday and half of Saturday, look for shower activity. Some of that could be quite heavy. On Sunday, though, Mother Nature says, I'm sorry,
Wow.
and takes us back up to normal.
Hey, that's pretty nice there. 75, sunshine.
Not too bad at all.
Little rain. Some folks still want some rain.
That's right. It's going to be mighty warm here in a couple of months. Let's keep that in mind.
I know it, and I've seen some trees starting to turn on
Yes.
Grand Avenue.
They're diseased.
No,
They're
I don't think
diseased.
so.
It's not
Well.
fall. Can't be fall.
Wait a minute, that's your expertise. Well, thanks, Mike. Still to come, Joanna Lund is going to join us in the studio with info on a healthy conference coming up this weekend.
But first, let's look at today's markets.
Up-to-the-minute weather information, day or night, call the News Channel 8 Super Doppler forecast at 262-7173. Sponsored by Iowa State Center's Stevens Auditorium.
Well, welcome back, everyone. An exciting and practical seminar coming up this weekend in the Quad Cities, and Joanna Lund joins us. And, of course, we're going to welcome her with open arms and open stomachs. Yes, by all means. You bring food and you're on the show no matter what. Boom, like that.
And this is Common Folk Healthy Pie for diabetics, heart patients, and people who want to lose weight. Because after I started enjoying a healthy piece of pie every day,
We got to get a look at
that's
this.
when I lost this 130 pounds, and these slacks became much, much, much too big.
Oh, my goodness. It's like
Yes.
Those were yours.
These were mine.
How long ago now?
5 years ago. Almost 6 years ago now. These slacks were too tight. Then I started eating a healthy piece of dessert every single day. And this is the type of food we're going to be featuring this Saturday.
So this looks almost too good
This
to be true.
well, this is a sinful-looking, sinless sensation. I admit that.
Can you say that 5 times fast?
Yes. And I can make it faster than we can say it.
Wow. Problem for me anyway, yeah. Well, let's talk about what you have
All
coming
right.
up this weekend. I mean,
My second
is
Living
great.
Healthy in the Real World Expo. This
Okay.
is for real people with real budgetary and time constraints and who still want to live healthy.
Sure.
This will be held at the Davenport River Center from 9 until 4. You can come and spend all day, or you can spend an hour. We're going to have seminars all day long on every aspect of living healthy, from Alzheimer's to menopause to stress to self-esteem to diabetes to heart concerns, everything. And the admission is only $5,
can't beat that.
and $1 of that will be donated to 2 charities. And yes, I'm going to
great.
share my story in depth a couple of times during the day, and anyone who admits that they're 52, at one time weighed 300 pounds, and in their all-time prime could wolf down 4 cake donuts in 5 minutes flat, isn't going to keep anything back.
Wow. That's an impressive story.
And we're moving our cafe down for the day. We'll have background music while lunchtime is open, and everything. Vendors will be there to talk about anything that has to do with living healthy.
Great. Second time around, apparently you must have had a good response.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
How many do you think are going to be there this weekend?
Well, we're hoping for at least 500 to 750.
Wow.
And last time, several from the Des Moines area came in a blizzard in January. So now we made sure that the weather is good.
Well, healthy is the way it is these days, and once again, you saw the information on your screen this weekend, the River Center in Davenport,
Right.
and only $5, and 2 of which is going to charity. You can't beat that. Great looking recipes, a lot of good information. Thank you very much,
Thank
Joanna.
you.
And we'll be back with more right after this.
A common procedure intended to help save the lives of critically ill heart patients may actually be putting thousands of lives in danger.
As Andrew Holtz shows us, some experts say a new study shows it may be necessary to stop using this procedure.
How does your neck feel right here?
It feels better since they got their cast me out.
Barry Exum's heart is enlarged and so weak, he's on a wait list for heart transplant.
Yeah, they put it out yesterday.
Doctors use a test called right heart catheterization, in which a catheter that entered through his neck allowed doctors to directly check blood pressures inside his heart, information that can help them make crucial decisions about medicines or other treatment. But the procedure was never put through the strictest scientific tests. And now a review of more than 5,000 critically ill heart patients suggests, rather than being helped, those who get the procedure may be more likely to die.
If you had 1,000 patients, you would have ended up in our population with about 50 more deaths. That's a substantial number, and we should be very concerned about it.
Experts estimate more than 500,000 critically ill patients in the U.S. get the test each year, which could mean some 30,000 additional deaths. The researchers say it's not that patients die during testing, but that something happens later. Only further study can pinpoint the problem.
It can be harder to study something that's already in general use because, of course, doctors are doing the procedure because they think it's helping their patients, and they don't want to withhold treatment just to answer the questions of researchers.
An editorial accompanying the study in the Journal of the American Medical Association calls for an immediate major study by the National Institutes of Health or a ban on the test. While agreeing studies should be done, the head of the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute says others can do them.
We are not going to change everything today to go into these clinical trials.
Other experts urge caution, saying a ban on the catheter tests would do more harm than good. But the latest research may break through resistance to strict study of the heart catheter test.
The most important thing is that there be a response quickly. This is used in a lot of people. It needs to be solved soon.
So that doctors can be sure they're not harming their patients while trying to save them. Andrew Holtz, CNN.
We're out of time. Thanks for joining us today.
And we'll see you back here tomorrow.